Well, everyone, thanks for a wide-ranging discussion in Professor Musings this week. I generally will let the conversation evolve over the week, and then on Friday or no later than Sunday, come in with my thoughts. I wanted to first talk about Jeff's right to try legislation, and this is my area of research, and I find it a fascinating topic. You mentioned that you were surprised that pharmaceutical manufacturers would be reluctant to join in and allow their medications or their drugs before they received FDA approval, why they would have problems allowing this to people who don't qualify for clinical trials. It actually is a pretty sticky issue in that, to the extent that the people requesting through compassionate use or some of the mechanisms used under right to try are too sick to qualify for clinical trials, the probability that the medications will help them is rather slim. And to the extent that there's any adverse effect from these patients using the medications, that information has to be submitted to the FDA, and the FDA can consider that in evaluating their drug for ultimate approval. Conversely, to the extent that the drug does cure or help the patient, because it wasn't done in a clinical trial setting, that information cannot be used as proof of efficacy for the product. So it really puts manufacturers in kind of a tough catch-22 position. Michael brought up some issues about abortion and end-of-life care. Those are, and again, it goes back to the themes of the course, two issues where there may be a medical definition, but because we are so entrenched as a country in certain religious and ethical and political views, and that is in many ways represented by where we live in the country, that it is a very tough issue for the courts and the legislature to deal with. On these two particular issues, though I have a tendency to shout my opinions from the rooftops, I respect that everyone has a right to believe and support whatever position they take on those particular issues. So in terms of me weighing in on my personal beliefs, I'm sure it will they will eke themselves out over the course of the semester. But at this point, I'm willing just to say I appreciate the robust discussion on them, but will not be adding my 2 cents as to whether I think these are appropriate topics for the legislature and the courts. If you guys get a chance, the New Yorker article is fascinating. And I really hope over the next week, you guys, it's a rather lengthy article, but you have a chance to read it. I will be posting a Professor Musings, kind of walking through just the myriad of legal, ethical, and I think just at the end of the day, justice issues that are raised by this article. So I look forward to a riveting conversation on those, and I will check back in next week.